morning, buenos días. Aquí estamos con Cafecito once again. Today we are visiting with Jose Macias. I'll be telling you a little bit about him. For right now, my allergies are killing me, so I sound sensuous is the word, okay? That's the word, okay? So if I cough like a dog, ignore it, okay? Ready? Mr. Jose Macias, I know that you live in the Judson community. I know that you're a board member. I know that you're a president. I know that you're with the Unity 37 Coalition. First of all, tell me about yourself as a child and into high school.
Oh my goodness. And obviously I know we don't have 500 hours to have conversations.
No, but I'll move you.
but thank you for the prompt. And then again, I will be cognizant of trying to be as brief as well.
I'll cut you off. Don't worry.
Basically, my childhood was a military dependent.
Okay.
My father was active duty military for almost 20 plus years, and I traveled the entire world with him. So global perspective was given to me at a very young age. I went to kindergarten in Turkey. I went to elementary school in Washington, D.C. I went to middle school in Louisiana. I went to high school in Germany before I graduated from John Jay High School. All within my first 17 years.
Sure, of course.
And so perspective globally was interesting. I will tell you the most interesting aspect of that not once did I realize I was brown during that period of time.
Correct.
I just knew I was an American.
Yeah.
And it's because my counterparts in my classes, we were not ever talking
Themselves.
about race.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, when I transcended, when I joined the military myself, and once I got out of the military, started going to college, multiculturalism, diversity, understanding the issues that we're facing in our communities was very eye-opening. And it's part of an evolution. I would say the Jose Macias that I was when I was 22 years old.
Totally.
To where I am now.
Completely.
And mind you, after my graduated from John Jay, I was 17 years old. I enlisted in the Air Force. I went in, just a very different person.
So after John Jay, you graduated from John Jay, so obviously you lived in my neighborhood because that's where my husband and I live, right there in that area. After that, you decide to do what? You joined the military. Okay, but you did go to college, so tell me about the college years.
Well, I did, and part of the reason why I got out of the military is because while I was there, I realized, my counselor had told me when I was in high school that I would not be successful in college. I mean, they flat out said, good thing you're joining the military because college is not for you. And I sat there and I thought, well, why is college not for me? I mean, I'm smart, I could do it. So I got out with the enthusiasm that I'm going to college, and I enrolled at San Antonio College, and it could have been Harvard for me. I mean, I'm in college.
Sure, of course.
And at the time, I was first generation. No one in my family had attended or graduated from college, so being at SAC was a big deal for me. So I went in eagerly, and I reverted back to my military days, and I just partied the entire time, and I failed every class I took for a year. For 2 straight semesters, I failed everything, and they gave me a letter. You're going to be on probation with one more failure. And I'm like, well, maybe everyone's right. Maybe I just don't have the maturity. Maybe I don't have the intellect. Maybe I should just go back to the military. And for some reason, the next semester, the light bulb came on.
I know. And I went through that.
And so for me, that's where things transitioned. I think it was at that time, I was 22 years old, when I realized what my calling was, and my calling was to serve. And I served because I was on student groups, and I realized the importance of being involved in the community, even in the college community, to doing more. And
so after SAC, you ended up where?
After SAC, I ended up opening up my own business.
Oh, really?
I stopped going to school.
Okay.
I had a sole proprietorship. I was learning the trade of promotional products, embroidered shirts and caps and all of that. And it was pretty lucrative. But I think that's where I lost all my hair. Because being in business is a very stressful activity. And then, of course, it was probably one of my darker times. I ended up getting divorced. I was married. And so talk about having a lot and then having nothing. When you go through divorce, it's hard. So I made a decision to go back to school. I said, I'm going to go to school. And Our Lady of the Lake kind of summoned me because I'm from this area. So I enrolled at the lake, and the best thing I've ever done. I mean, everything crystallized at that point, and so that's where it really began.
And I've gone through exactly the same thing. I was told that I would not go to college, that I would get married, and that I would have babies. Same thing. tell me now. Oh, okay. You go to the lake. You finish at the lake, and your degree is in
It's in business management with a minor in economics.
economics. Okay, so you're dealing with that. You're still strong in the neighborhood. You're doing neighborhood.
In fact, ever since I was 22, I was involved in city commissions. City
Okay.
council members would appoint me as their representative.
Okay.
And one thing, just to say for the record, because I know my wife will watch this, my wife is also pivotal. Because sometimes you have to find that partner,
Oh, of
right? That
course.
person.
You need that. Oh, yeah.
And so, coincidentally, while I was at Our Lady of the Lake, I started dating my future wife,
Okay.
who I'm still with now.
Yeah.
And so, having all of that synergy come together, I mean, you need a partner to be there to help push you and
Most
be the
definitely,
support.
most definitely.
Because I tell you, if the amount of community stuff I do,
Mm-hmm.
it's hard to manage a home. My wife says, I got the home. You just do what you got to do. And that's a great balance and a great support system. And
Now, I do need to explain to our viewers, Yvonne and I made a decision when we began our very first Cafecito that we're going to interview Edgewood people. Well, you are connected to Edgewood because your mom and dad were Edgewood products. You know,
they were proud
Yeah.
products of John F. Kennedy High School.
Yeah.
But I also have 10 aunts and uncles who all went through the John F.
This-
Kennedy.
yeah, this is-
And again, this is home. I feel a connection. My grandparents actually built their home in the Edgewood community in 1955. So every brick, every wood, my grandfather was here, and of course my other grandparents on my mom's side were on 34th Street. I know this
and
area.
they were the Herreras.
They were yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and the
Macias.
Macias lived behind 36 in that area where the
Yes.
fire station is.
They were married at St. Martin.
Okay.
So again, everywhere I walk, there are places that my
That's
family
your
has
history.
been.
That's your
And I still, regrettably, I love delicious tamales. They used to be
I
right there.
know,
Castroville.
right there.
I'm still like mad that they left because we'd always get tamales there. But
That's exactly-
but I know Las Palmas. This is really an area where my family's humble beginnings
Yeah.
started, and I still feel connected to it because John Jay is just right down the street.
Right there.
It's not that
2 exits
far.
away.
And I still have family that live in this community.
Yeah. Now, Unity 37 Coalition, it's a nonprofit, strategic, and I'm reading from what it said, strategic planning and development, focused with breaking the cycle of poverty in the west side of San Antonio. Now, you zero in on 2 zip codes. The 2 zip codes are Edgewood,
It's 78237
Mhm.
and 78227.
which is John Jay,
Which
covers
is John Jay.
Jay, yeah.
Up into the Marbach 410 area.
Okay, and it says here, breaking the cycle of poverty. That means the homelessness, the education side of it, the food deficiency areas.
And so, in doing that, and I'd like
Okay.
to also just jump into
Okay.
to that was such large issues, a lot of stuff.
Oh, a lot.
And so, what we've done as an organization, Unity 37, with stakeholders in our steering committee, our board, we narrowed our focus that we're still addressing generational poverty,
Okay.
but we've all come to the decision that education is central and foundational in terms of really having the best opportunity to change the trajectory of a student's and family's life. And as you being a former educator, you know that is really where rubber meets the road.
Of course.
But we also have a structure that we're going to, when we do our work in the community, have referral partners to address homelessness, to address food insecurities, to address criminal activity, any of those things that we're going to encounter, because our nonprofit is going to be student focused, but as an educator too, you can't just focus on the student without helping the family.
Of course.
It's all connected. So Unity 37 will be very focused on offering support to students, but also to the families.
Good. 37, Unity 37 is a grant?
It is funded
Okay.
by Methodist Healthcare Ministry.
Okay.
They blessed the coalition with funding to get started,
Okay.
to get the work going. So this is a very critical time, because one thing I will tell you, my work experience, which we didn't elaborate on too much, is I've been in nonprofit development and fundraising for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
I've worked for the Salvation Army, for the American Diabetes Association, so national nonprofits. So I know how to create and work within the nonprofit sector. One thing that Unity 37 must do to be viable, to prove its worth,
Mm-hmm.
is show results. Because at the end of the day, what kind of impact are we making? And so we're structuring during this period of the grant that we have with Methodist, all of the infrastructure to get started and then to showcase what those results will look like, which are going to be great.
Well, on behalf of Edgewood, the community, and its children, which I am a child of Edgewood, my mother graduated from Edgewood High School, the old original one. So we've been here also decades, many decades. Thank you so much. Tell me what you're doing at this moment, and because this is Edgewood, and I know we're including the John Jay area because it's 2 exits away, but tell me what you're doing here in Edgewood.
Well, the most important thing is to identify leaders to serve as committee members. As we identified and sought individuals who lived in the community, so finding a core group to initiate that work was critical. So the first step was to do that. That's been accomplished and we're good to go. So we have a good board. We have a good steering committee. We've identified local leadership to be involved. Right now we're actually creating now the initial programming to impact Edgewood ISD students. So, well, I wouldn't even say Edgewood ISD students. I would say any student that lives within the 78237 zip code, because we're bringing the entire community up. It's not just simply Edgewood ISD, any student that resides within this community. So our work, just to tell you what will happen, is that we're going to mentor, we're going to tutor, and we're going to help the community and parents advocate for stronger educational achievement for their students. And that's, again, back to the idea that we can help the student. We also have to help the community and our parents.
What I want you to do is I want you to give a phone number or a location where people can come looking for you. So do you have a phone number off the top of your head?
We do. And I actually will give my direct cell.
Okay,
because
please.
One of the things that we've been very intentional about is not acquiring office space because we want to use those resources for the programming that we're going to do. Mind you, we don't have an unlimited pot of money.
Correct, yeah.
So we have to be strategic about what we do. So my number is 210-386-0075. And that is my direct cell. I welcome anyone to give me a call if they have questions. We will refer, we will support if they have ideas in which they want to be involved. There's so much there, right? Because it takes.
What is your long-term goal for these 2 zip codes?
The long-term goal, very poignantly, is to change the educational attainment level of students. More importantly, to decrease the level of absenteeism, because you see a high rate of students that are just not going to school. The long-range goal is to put our students on a trajectory to be at grade level and above. It sounds simple, but it's not that simple. There's a lot of pieces to making that happen. But ultimately, our goal is to ensure that we have inspired children. We have children that have the aptitude and the belief through grade level attainment.
And their parents support.
And we have to understand. But we're finding, though, obviously in our initial work, is that there are grandparents raising children.
Oh, yes, there are.
And that disconnect of grandparents and how they're raising their child, they're raising them with 20 or 30-year mentalities, which are not competitive now. And the realities are very different in our world than they were 30 years ago. So having programs that talk to grandparents. So in the future, if you talk about long-term, that initial thing is that we start seeing changes almost within 2 to 3 years in terms of the level of students and their performance in the classroom. As you probably know, you have to believe first. And if you don't have the belief that you can get there, you won't get there. So there is some really focused work on inspiring our children as part of our programming.
Yvonne, any questions, Miss Yvonne? No, we're doing well? Okay. That's what I have. Anything else you want to add? We try our best to keep in the 10-15 minute range for our listeners who get bored.
Let me just add this. Unity 37 is we're humble enough to know that we're part of the equation. We're not the end all.
No,
we can't be.
No, you cannot.
But we recognize that our entire community is part of this, and that's why we have an advocacy element to it. We want to empower our community to know that there are opportunities to help and be part of the solution here. So we are meeting with elected officials. We are meeting with neighborhood associations. I have a tentative date set for February 13th to meet with every president of every neighborhood association in the 78237 zip code so that we can talk about what those collaborations need to look like so we can have the support. We are actually going to, by the end of this year, probably knock on every door in this community, in part because we're also looking to not promote Unity 37, but determine what the real needs are.
Yeah.
We have a glimpse of what they are, but we want to quantify what they are by having neighborhood outreach.
You know, when I started teaching in 1974 at Emma Fry, right across the street from Las Palmas in that little vicinity, we had to do 2 home visits per year. We had to. Every teacher did a home visit twice a year. Every one of us. So we knew the family, we knew the living conditions, we knew what was going on. You know, and that's how you work with your students.
Well, and I will say this too. You had asked about vision, right, and what we're doing. The most important thing is to create a foundation that is solid. We've done and we've taken those steps. We feel like we're building a very solid foundation. But we do envision doing summer camps. We do envision doing camps during the holidays, during spring break, that still keep children and students engaged. And so this is a need in this community. More notably, we're looking for alumni of this community to come back and tell their story. It's so important for students to see that people have made a difference. People can succeed in any facet of life.
I have begged the past 5 superintendents, let me get a group of 80 people, let me get a group of 5 people that graduated from Edgewood School, became a teacher, and retired from Edgewood. Who better than us who would know 50, 60 years of Edgewood, what we've seen, what we've done, what's worked.
And that's something, obviously, you can help work with us in that respect, because we're going to bring them. We will have the audience of students. We will have opportunities to create, we will do parent workshops. We'll have those type of things that will help really talk about it. And right now, we have not named the program. It's loosely an ambassador alumni program, but we will name it and coin it as we continue to develop our programming for Unity 37. But we just need our students to know. And obviously, we've done a lot of work. My time as a school board trustee has given me perspective.
Oh my goodness, you see the big picture.
In education, where there's some challenges. So I leverage that experience to help as well.
Oh, I know exactly. There was a program in Edgewood that I'm going to talk to you about later. Amazing. 1 year, they cut it off. I taught that program. And I'm going to share it with you because that's how good it was.
You hear a lot about that. And again, in my world, they say programs aren't sustainable, but I believe they can be. And that's why I'm a big advocate for showcasing the net results, what the product is looking. What I really like about Unity 37 is we're not tied to any entity. We are our own 501c3 that will be enabled and positioned to do programming as long as possible. And I think the more that we start working with our community, our neighborhood associations, and other leaders, we'll be able to do our own programming and eventually make that decision to invest in a facility. But there are complications. Transportation and other kind of things.
I've gone through all that, so I'm going to explain that to you too.
Yeah. So we realize it exists. So the easiest pathway is to do things within the campus, and accessibility is there for all of our students.
Correct.
So what's the first thing you have on your agenda as how you're getting involved in the schools or in the community?
We've actually had a series of meetings with the administration at Edgewood ISD. That was our first focal point. We eventually will be working and reaching out to Northside as part of the 78227 area of our grant. But we've had really quality meetings with Edgewood ISD. And so at this point, they have all the information they need now to make a decision if they want to move forward and in which way. So we've actually met with 3 campuses, three elementary campuses in the Edgewood community, with campus leadership, meaning principals and assistant principals. We've outlined our approach. There seemed to be a lot of interest in it. And because of the wonderful support from Methodist Healthcare Ministry, there would be no charge to the Edgewood ISD community. for at least 2 years because we've have it underwritten. So it gives really the landing strip there where we can really see, can this really help? So that's really what we're exploring. And I totally respect administration. They have to vet processes. They have to see how it'll work, all of those things. So we're in that process now of having enough of those meetings so that we can move forward with the district. And obviously that's only one piece because, as I mentioned, we're here to help all students within the 78237 zip code. So that's one component, but that's one major step that we've taken.
Now, because you're going to be on Facebook, you have children.
I do.
Give me their ages.
They're very big now.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But I have a 28-year-old.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
And a 22-year-old.
Oh, so they're young adults.
They are. They you know how as an educator we want our children to do better than we are.
Of course.
So both of my children are positioned to do a lot better than I did.
Wonderful.
One is actually the 28-year-old is a full-time teacher. She teaches. She's certified in the state of Texas.
We need her. We need them.
And she comes home and we talk and there's a lot of burnout for our teachers.
Oh my God, it's tremendous.
Unity 37 would like to also do more to support teachers, but that's another area that's still really developing. It's so our focus is students, but we recognize the importance of experienced teachers in the classroom, and so we are looking for.
I remember being on a committee and it was zero or very low cost. What do we do for teachers? It was so simple. In the morning, say thank you for being here. You know.
Well,
so simple.
And the thing is, we recognize with our visits that there's not a lot of parent engagement. There are no PTOs or PTAs on campuses, which a lot of times they would help with those things. So we've looked and talked about the idea of maybe Unity stepping in and doing some of that to kind of help build parent engagement, but also clear that void, help that void that's there.
Well, your hands are filled, mijo. There's no doubt about it, Jose, because everything you've talked to me is a priority. And if the priority should be our schools, should be our children, because they are our future.
Well, and just so my other daughter doesn't feel like I forgot about
yeah, I know.
My youngest is 22. She's a senior in college right now.
Good for her.
She's in Beaumont at Lamar University, and
yeah.
she's a STEM student. She's a chemical engineering major.
Yeah.
She's going to be a rock star when she graduates.
Oh, that's
so I'm
wonderful.
just very proud of my two daughters.
Of course.
They grew up so fast.
Yeah,
I mean, they're I don't know where the time
It's
went.
amazing. It's amazing. Jose, I want to thank you so very much. Thank you so very much. What we usually do with our podcast, Yvonne works on it for a few days, and then she'll post it hopefully on a Sunday morning. You know, and then once it's on Facebook, it's there forever and ever and ever.
Well, we certainly would be happy to share it with our stakeholders,
please
with
do.
our community.
Please do.
We want to have this broader conversation.
Yeah.
We're looking to actually put a forum together with panelists to discuss the state of the Edgewood ISD community. And so we want to have conversations that really put it in clear where this community is and where we need to go. And so there's just a lot of work. And I just know that we can't do it alone, but we certainly want to bring everyone together as a coalition to help make a difference.
Yeah.
Thank you both for taking time.
And I write
Just real quick. Do you have a physical address for the coalition?
It's at United Bethel. They're
On Acme Road.
Oh, the one on Acme, right there,
Okay.
right past the Ren between LBJ and Ren.
And that's where we still receive our mail. But again, building infrastructure, we're looking to have a P.O. box that's separate from Bethel because we are going to continue to evolve. But Bethel, and that's something I should have mentioned, forgive me, United Methodist, they were the ones that secured the grant from Methodist that created Unity 37. They were very, very intentional about wanting to also help make a difference. And that's how this all happened. So we didn't talk about the origins of how we started as an organization, but they were pivotal to where we are now.
Wonderful. They've been very much a part of our community.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so very much again, Jose. Thank you so much.
Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Jose.